Hi, this is Kim. Welcome to part 2 of Wonder as I Wanders, walkthrough, talk through of What Remains of Edith Finch. The last thing we did was we learned more about Odin Finch, who is the patriarch of the Finch family. He's dead. It's easy just to assume everyone you see in this game is dead. That's a Finch nest. Anyways. So we learned his story and how he's the one who brought Edie and Sven over to America from Norway, it should have been. So we learned about him, and then we talked about Edie, and we talked about all that is Edie, her hats, her bird memorials, and her painting. So we are going to move on finally from Edie's room. I just want to say I listened to the last video and I feel bad. My voice is so soft and the game is so soft. Everything's just so soft. But I can't really get too excited in a room like this. I'm happy to be here. But I'm not going to be super giggly, because why would I be? Because everyone's dead. So anyways, we're going to enter here.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
I mean, does she not like his wife? So, as far as I can tell, when we get to the extensions of this house, we will look into it. But this seems to be the only bathroom in this huge big house. And I don't understand how that's possible. As per usual in these kind of games, for some reason the mirror does not work. That happens a lot in different types of video games. You will not see yourself, no matter what. She is right, there's a lot of pink. Can we look at the medicine? No. Okay, pink carpet. Orange? Anyways, okay. This bathroom will play a part later. Can we not? Oh, can I look through this one? No, this bathroom's closed off too. You can see the caulk or whatever. So we're going to go this way because it's the only way we can go.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard.
I'm trying.
It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Say what you will about this family, they are creative to a fault. So Sam, that is Edith's grandfather. Yes. 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 And yeah, he's a photographer. We'll see more of that later. But I guess this was his creepy little dark room. I don't know how well this would actually work as a working dark room. Some more Art by Milton, our brother. So we're in one of those cute little rooms where the person's personality is kind of summed up by a couple different visual traits. This is the room of Calvin and Sam. So Edie and Sven's twin boys. This is Calvin's side, which is all about space. And this room's really cool. This would have been a cool room to have. And then Sam's side is more about outdoors and the military. Let's look at this stuff before we get into the next story. Cigarettes, I guess? I don't remember that last time. Okay.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
No one talks in this family. They either take pictures or they paint.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Remember the swing, guys?
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that, maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, and maybe he'd still be here, but I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
So that was a beautiful and ugly story about Calvin, obviously. It's hard with this family. He references Barbara, that's he and Sam's sister. We'll meet her in a bit. They mention her death, because again, everybody's dead. And with this family, death has such a huge impact, and it's an obsession that started from the beginning. We saw that with Odin. I would walk, but I'm afraid Edith is going to interrupt me. So we're just going to hang out here in Space Command. But yeah, Odin was obsessed with death and what's beyond. And somehow that carried over with this family. There's talk of a curse. But sometimes bad things just happen to people. And with this family, I just don't think they talked a lot. They didn't say the right things to each other. But they were also they weren't open with each other, but they were very bold. I mean, what Calvin did was some kind of bold rebellion, I think, against his sister's death. And I'm sure maybe he had heard stories about death before in the family. I don't know. And he just didn't want to succumb to it. Just that fear. Which is a lot to take at 11. So I don't know. It's sad.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Yeah. Let's go up here to Sam's side. There's not much. I don't know. I mean, did he climb up here and jump on the bed? That would have been cool. So, goodbye, Calvin. We're moving on. We got real books, we got fake books, more books.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
We'll see the outside of this later. Okay, maybe we can see what this wine was. Orange, tabby, Zinfandel. We go this way. Another Milton original.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Okay, let's look at Barbara's room. So, Barbara. I don't want to explain too much because, first of all, it's pretty self-evident, but also we're going to learn more in her story. But her room's pretty cool. More books, of course. This family is well read. The birthday cake seems like maybe you should have thrown that out. Either that or it's very full of preservatives. Okay. All right, let's get started. This one, sad. So the last one was Ugly Beautiful, this one is fun bad. You'll see.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Thanks, babe.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Boom.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Wrong room. Oh, how about the open door?
Walter, are you there?
Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
So there's a lot to unravel there. So, it's interesting that the game starts with the story of Molly, whose death is, we don't see her die, thankfully. And it's kind of up in the air. I mean, there's some good guesses as to what happened to Molly, but it's not for certain. And then we have Calvin's story, which is much more straightforward. And then we have this. And now, obviously with the gameplay, I love the gameplay. It's one of my favorite stories to play. But going through it, I'm just really sad for Barbara. Because lots of reasons. So you figure with the storytelling device of the comic, I mean, the comic is a real thing. It's a real thing that was published and within this story, this world. And, you know, they got the house pretty well illustrated. Everything was captured very nicely for what it was. So I imagine that whoever came up with the story idea, although for all I know, Edie contacted this comic publisher. They saw the house. They know somewhat of Barbara. They didn't guess what happened. They didn't guess how things looked. They took something real, something that was given to them, and then, of course, they, you know, took some creative license with it because it is a comic book. But Edie did have a hand with this, or in this, and kind of like what Edith said, like it kind of seems like she's exploiting her daughter, Edie is, and that's kind of true, or is true, but also maybe she did think this was honoring Barbara, since Barbara wanted to be famous and Barbara wanted something. So instead of just being a statistic, because obviously I don't think she was actually killed by a group of monsters or anyone dressed as monsters. I kind of go along with the whole fan/boyfriend. And you figure that's too common a tale in both fiction and real life. So Edie just wanted something bigger for Barbara, even that if that wasn't the truth. So yeah, and I feel I'm just noticing this game, this time I'm playing the game, I just feel like Edith, not Edie, but Edith, who we're playing as, she just seems kind of disconnected. You know, Molly tells her story, and I forgot what Edith said, and then with Calvin, Edith is like, I thought about doing that. And then with this, I don't know, I don't quite know what Edith's deal is. So that was Barbara.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Yeah.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
And it makes me want to know, how famous is the Finch family? Like, clearly on this island, they're famous. But, like, are they famous just in the state of Washington? In the U.S.? Like, how far does this go? Like, where has Edith gone that people are asking her? So we are... Oh, let's look through the people here.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
We know. Okay, so more books. This was our little secret passageway. Something that every child and adult maybe hopes to have. So this is one of those ways that we can't go.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
I think I know what this is. We'll see when we get closer. But you can see we have a... Do they really not have anything up there? Okay. Alright, so we're moving on.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
It's funny, I guess.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
But the bathroom?
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
I mean, if you have guests over, what do you... Oh, where's your bathroom? Oh, it's sealed up. Sorry.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Well, technically we were just there a few minutes ago, but I get it. Okay, so I think we're done. So we're kind of getting close to the end of the first set of Finches. We have Sven and Edie's kids. We had Molly and Calvin and Barbara. And so now we're going to move on to Walter. I believe we're done with the upstairs. So now we're going to go to that basement. I think we looked through all the peepholes. Even though I've played this game so many times, I kind of forget how sad it is. I think because Molly's story is just so weird. You don't really know what's going on. And then it just, suddenly you have a kid flying off a swing and... all that.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Where was she allowed to go? I want to say, you know, the comic talked about Sven getting his hand cut. For some reason, I thought there was evidence of that. Granted, they should have cleaned that up. It's been a while. But anyways, that did happen.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
I sigh because this one's so sad. And that's saying
maybe
something.
She was hiding presents.
Nope. Alright, guys. Remember the mole man that was featured in Edie's room, that newspaper clipping? We're going to learn more about him.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
So, you see that? Got lots of stocked up items here. Got some albinos. Peanut butter, jelly, pea soup. As if his life wasn't bad enough. Time for Walter, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
I think I just now noticed the crutch. Guess he held on to that. Come on.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
I can.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
How? Anyways.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Again,
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Yeah, I get it.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Oh, can we not see it?
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2.
No, I need to keep going.
I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Okay, thank you. So Walter kind of gets 2 memorials. He had the one inside his bunker, and then we have it here. Can I go back? I just want to see something. I'm sure I can only go so far. I've heard people say it seems weird that they had a train going underneath the house. Although, obviously I don't know the logistics of how far down it went. You figure the house is pretty high up. And then just, let's see. So yeah, something must have happened. The tracks would have continued around this bend, but either there's some kind of natural disaster, or just it fell to pieces, or maybe they shut it down, I don't know. Can't really see much from here anyway. So yeah, with Walter, just he dealt with so much. You know, I know he didn't really know Molly, but he heard about Molly. And then, obviously, Barbara. So, you know, when Barbara, and he was there, and I wonder how much guilt he felt because of that, even though obviously it wasn't his fault. And then Calvin, and you know, you figure Calvin took such a different approach, where he was just kind of defiant, if you will. Where Walter was just terrified. And it's really, I could be wrong. You know, with Edith's mom, she seems so, like, just wanting to keep, not Edith. Yeah, Edith's mom. So Dawn. Dawn wants to keep Edith away from any of the stories, any of the truth or some semblance of that, because she thinks it's going to give Edith ideas. And to me, that didn't really track with a lot of the stories, but this is really one of the first ones that show that Dawn did have something to worry about. Although, I mean, this is a pretty extreme case. Just that Walter felt like he needed to hide from everything. And I mean, was Edie just enabling him? Did she feel like she was protecting him? I mean, she was supporting him. Because again, I guess no therapist exists on this island.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
It's okay.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Not to take away from all the nice things that Edith is saying. So, okay, so there's the house. So, I guess it works out. I wonder if I can walk back up. But you remember, with this totem, which I guess this is supposed to be Molly. Maybe. Yeah. So we got Molly. And I guess maybe that's her as the owl. And then I think I'm interpreting this the correct way. I would think this would be Calvin on the swing. Oh, is this the creepy? Maybe this is the thing that Molly thought she imagined herself going into. Let's see if I can see more of the totem. Show me the story. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's Barbara. That's Barbara screaming. And let me see. Is that supposed to be Walter under the house? Can I go a different way?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Oh, I'm sorry I was picking on you, Edith. I just want to see this. Can I go back up? I have so many different places I want to go to.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
What does that mean? I'm going in about 5 different directions. By the way, I think these lights are a nice touch. Okay, I can go there. Okay. I've never been over here before. Okay, so that's Barbara. I wish I could see. I don't think I can go up. It's the illusion of up. I don't know. So the other thing about Walter, too, you figure, you know, I was going on about Edie, like, was what she was doing, like, really help? Or was it something else? So we go back to that mole man story, kind of in the same way with Barbara. taking her story and exploiting it. She seems to be doing the same thing with Walter with that, where she's like spreading these kind of rumors of a mole man. And I don't know the motivation, unless she just liked attention. I mean, she wasn't scared of getting attention. I will say this with a lot of people with family curses, if that's what they so believe. They're kind of ashamed of it or would want to keep it to themselves, but I feel like Edie would gladly tell you all about her family curse. Whether you wanted to know or not. This game is so pretty. Okay. I was gonna walk on the beach. I think I'm going the right way. Am I going the right way? I have to be.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Why do I feel like I went the wrong way? I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, remember we looked through the peephole in that gate in the first part of the game. It's somewhere around here. So we're on the other side. Oh, there's the swing. Or, I assume, a new swing in the same spot. Yeah. So this is where Calvin was. And you know, a lot of people talk about the carelessness of this family. Why would you have a swing right there?
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Apparently
What kind
not.
of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Okay, so yeah. We know that this family likes memorials, so we have a whole cemetery to explore. Oh, this video might be a little bit longer. So we got... Oh, Christopher the fish! That was Molly's fish. Shadow, Shotzi, Oliver, Bob. Did the gerbil have a name? Why is your sign down? Bailey. What about the gerbil? Alright. Somehow the birds... Well, no, the bird cages were the memorials. Zerpy? I don't remember Zerpy. Anyways, all the birds are out here. Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe. They don't get names.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Okay, so I won't read it all, but we got Molly really focusing on the cat, although that's really pretty. Calvin, space, Sven and the saw, Edie and her stories. You know, Walter's story is really sad. And again, it's one of the saddest ones for me, but even his tombstone's sad. You even see the moon peeking out. Sorry, Walter. Okay, Barbara has her star. Oh, okay, so this is... You know, obviously Sam's not down here. So this is kind of our first segment of family members. Even though, you know, Edie doesn't die until later. They're part of the core group here. And then we move on.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
What's the best angle I can get here?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
So yeah, we got Odin here, and that's a nice view just with the house in the background. And then we got Edie, Sven.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
We got little baby Molly. We're gonna go down here real quick.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
So yeah, that's the original house that Odin tried to get over here, but didn't make it. And it just, I mean, it's held up.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Yeah, I guess I was being too hard on Dawn. It makes more sense as we go along. So yeah, Sam, so again, brother of Calvin, father of Dawn. And we have Gregory Finch and Gus Finch, which are Dawn's brothers.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
So Sanjay Kumar, that's Edith's dad. Then we got Milton, he's the one who has left all those drawings everywhere.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
And then we have Lewis Finch. You can see this kind of looks like a crown. And we'll get into that as we get closer to his story, or after his story.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. So we covered a lot of ground today. We had Calvin and Barbara and Walter, the cemetery, lots of Edith's thoughts. So in part 3, we will continue on with the Finch family. Hope you enjoyed this. I know it was sad, but I don't have an ender for that. Thanks for watching.